Still be in a room watching Infowars.
So speaking of censorship, YouTube and Facebook have now banned all the QAnon stuff, right?
Which is crazy.
Well, this is what's crazy. Like, what's next? You're going to ban JFK conspiracy
Well,
theories?
if I make a joke about QAnon, am I going to get banned? That's the other problem for
But
comedians.
it's like you said, the Young Turks show. Well, let's just first talk about the Young Turks.
What is the show that
the Jacobins?
Because Tim Dillon had put the show. He'd put it. I'm gonna send it to you, Jamie, so you can see what it is. I'm gonna send you the video that Tim Dillon, or excuse me, Tim Pool had sent me. I'm gonna send it to you right now, Jamie.
So let me explain this.
Okay.
The Young Turds are anti-free speech for everybody, including me. And then she goes, "But I'm not anti-free speech. I just want Alex Jones banned." But then they have this new show called The Jacobins. Well, let's talk about evil. The Young Turks were the group that ran the Armenian genocide. They ran the Armenian genocide on record, killed over 1.5 million Christians. They named themselves the Young Turks. They go, oh, we don't know what that means. Now they're called the Jacobins. The Jacobins ran the French Revolution and were the Illuminati. I told you about them earlier.
Yeah.
So it's like every name they've got is like the Hitler Youth, basically. I mean, the Young Turks, and
that is a very unfortunate name. The Young Turks.
They also people run around with, the people that watch a lot of those shows walk around with either the Che Guevara shirts or they're unironically calling themselves Maoists. These are like suburban white kids walking around going, "I'm a Maoist."
I mean,
it's kind of
$800 smartphones,
right?
Yeah, that is a problem too.
It's absurd.
I think they're trying to do good, and I think they are doing good. I really do. I think when they thought that, hey, I'm not anti-free speech, but ban Alex Jones, they just don't understand what that means. There's a reason why you can't just go around censoring people. And again, the answer to bad speech is better speech. That has always been the answer.
But here's the big problem. Once they silence you, they can then make up whatever they want. Because people all the time
here's what's worse, Alex, and this is you personally, but the problem is when they silence someone, when they censor someone, and then that person's not that's not the target anymore, they look for another target, and they invariably go left. They invariably.
Exactly. They get on a power trip.
But hold on a second. The left is not left enough. So if you're a centrist, they'll call you alt-right. Because you need to be compliant completely with the ideology. If you're not compliant, they keep moving what's acceptable and what constitutes racism, sexism, classism, homophobia, transphobia.
It's a power grab.
But they keep changing it. And
they move the line all the time.
Orwell talked about this in 1984. He was like, if you ban all the words, if all you will change thoughts. Because you can't have all the, I forget Orwell's words on
reducing language. He said what they want to reduce the language where no one's even able to communicate, and that's the goal. So we think of it as a leftist thing that's out of control. No, this is a science.
I paraphrased it and I fucked it up. But the point is, what they didn't see, they didn't use hindsight. They didn't.
It's called ingsoc.
What they did. It's so hard to talk with you. What they didn't do is they didn't look
Joe,
to where this goes.
I do.
They didn't look to where this goes. They didn't understand. They didn't extrapolate. They didn't say.
Or maybe some of them did, and some of them wanted to go where it's going.
If you start censoring, there's a real. And I know people are saying, no, you should censor people that say terrible things because they influence our children. And you can't.
But Joe, it's a power grab. They get off. Once they've got one scalp, they're going to scalp everybody, including themselves.
I understand that's the motivation of the people that are doing it. That's not what I'm concerned with. What I'm concerned with is the problem itself. Because you keep finding a new target. You keep finding a new person who's doing something that's incorrect.
That's what I'm saying. They don't want to give up. They want more and more.
But it's not that they're trying to grab power. It's that you're always trying. Look, you've started a game.
Yeah, but
you started a game.
They're losers and want to control reality because they're projecting their own hatred of themselves on us.
You don't think part of it is that they want power to control the discussion?
There's most certainly a part of that. Yeah. That's human nature.
But Joe, you just said I'm hard to deal with.
Well, because you talk over people. When they're talking, you don't let them get the full.
You've been talking a lot.
You don't let people get a full thought out. And Tim does it like when he's having
his
thoughts.
How the censors are good.
What I was saying is he's talking and you jump in, and the problem is I know you have some things to say, but then you fuck with the thing that's coming out of the other person's mouth.
Okay, explain to me how the censors are loving people. That's what you're trying to do.
I'm not saying they love people. I'm saying they're not looking at it correctly, because the way they're looking at it, they think they're doing a good thing and they're going to usher forth some utopian world of communication where people are only saying the things they agree with. The problem with that is you don't find out who's right unless you get everybody talking.
But I agree. But Joe, it's worse than that.
You can't have an echo chamber. It's dangerous. Echo chambers are dangerous. And what tech has done is created these left-wing ideological echo chambers.
I totally agree.
And they're also forcing people into self-censorship, because if you don't comply with the rules that they've set forth, then you get banned, so you comply. And you find people.
It's a cult.
It is a cult. Ideologically.
Talk like this.
Listen, it is a cult.
Joe.
I think there's a lot of these cults.
Joe, what I'm trying to say to you is you've never been not smoking weed with me on air. You need.
I know
weed.
it's a bummer. We should have had you come in a week.
You're angry. You're upset.
But
I'll be here during the
I wanted
election.
you to be on before the election and the shit.
Who do you think's going to win, by the way?
Donald Trump is going to win.
You think so?
But then the Democrats are going to contest it, and we're going to have the 79 days of
But
hell.
why are all the polls showing that Joe Biden is in the lead? Do you think it's all
Just
bullshit?
like last time, they said Hillary was going to win.
Yeah, but these are the post election polls.
Joe, what I want to do is talk to you right now.
Why are you talking like that?
He's like he's a conspiracy phone sex
I want to
operator.
talk about what a sexy man you are right now. I am.
He's the only one here drunk. This is a real
I am
problem.
channeling Tim Dillon. Tim Dillon's
That's
looking
not how Tim Dillon talks.
Tim Dillon's looking at you right now.
Do you really think that Trump is going to win? Because it's
Yeah.
close.
No, he's going to win big.
Interesting.
Really?
But
Why
they're
do you
gonna
think that?
But they're going. Listen, I was not trying to interrupt you earlier.
Well, this is how you talk. It's okay. You're
This is
explosive
how you
guy.
talk.
You got to let
It's
it
got
energy.
passion.
Joe,
Got
you've
passion.
Passion.
you've talked twice as much in our last 4-hour podcast. I love it. This is the sober Joe Rogan. Let's get back to this.
Trump.
What were we arguing about political correctness?
I don't know, but you were saying that we weren't arguing.
He was saying that the censors,
I was agreeing with you.
Some of the censors are trying to do the right thing.
Yes.
And that you were saying, listen, it's deeper than that, and then that's where we left off.
Yeah, it's all been scientifically set up where they always say, oh, we're for outliers now and dog whistles. It's all about normalizing centralized control. Big tech knows it's psychological algorithms. It's totally destructive. China that has people Muslims in death camps, Christians in death camps, Buddhists in death camps, is trying to totally normalize censorship here domestically when the whole left is involved with communist China through big tech. It doesn't say a word about them. They have no moral high ground to stand on, Joe.
Well, we have a real problem in this society when it comes to tech, first of all, because all the people that are on the moral high ground who are buying iPhones, you know where those things are being made. Like we all know.
Everybody knows.
And I admit it. I
admit it as well. There's no iPhones that are being made in Ohio with highly skilled workers that are paid an excellent wage and they have great healthcare benefits. That's not what's happening. I don't know why, but that's not what's happening.
Sure.
They've decided that it's better to make them cheaper or better to have a higher profit margin and make them in other countries, or at least they decided that initially, and now they're stuck.
Let me ask you this. Who do you think is going to win? In fact, I will be very subdued now since I'm back.
Joe Jorgensen.
Yeah, I think Joe Jorgensen has a great shot.
She's a shoo-in. And then Kanye West.
I think Joe Jorgensen, Kanye West. I think it's a nail bite. It's neck and neck.
You know what drives me crazy?
I think it's neck and neck, right?
Jennifer Aniston she made a tweet that said,
What drives me crazy is you're hating me right now
no, I love
because
you.
you're not drinking.
Hold on a second. There was a fucking hilarious response by Kanye West. She said, Jennifer Aniston put on Twitter, hey, it's not funny to vote in for Kanye. Don't do it. And he goes, Friends wasn't funny either.
Hilarious. He's right. He's right. That's great.
Friends was not funny.
But you see the two of them together. Friends was a funny show.
Joe, you were great on Friends.
I wasn't on Friends.
That's a joke.
Who do you think's going to? You think Trump?
I don't know.
Well,
If you were a Friends character, who would you be?
I'd probably be Matt LeBlanc, right?
You'd be Jennifer Aniston.
I don't think so. Who's Matt LeBlanc? His name is Joe.
Jennifer's the most successful.
That's the most
I
successful.
identify as Jennifer Aniston.
He was dumb. I'm dumb. Perfect.
Wouldn't you like to have a dentist like Jennifer Aniston in Horrible Bosses?
She was a dentist? What did she do? Molest her patients while they're
Yes.
under? Okay. Well, you could be molested by worse people.
Well, they're not kids.
But I just think it's funny that someone who's an actor would say that. Like this thing that they feel like they have this influence and they're going to change the way people vote.
Stupid. This 80 days of hell you speak of, what does that entail? Just so I can mentally prepare myself.
79 days of
79 days of hell.
What are you talking
79 days without Joe
gonna happen?
Rogan.
What's
What's
going
gonna
to
I
happen?
don't know, 79 days of us locked up in here with cases of whiskey and huge piles of marijuana.
He's lit.
No. That's,
You're a little lit, buddy.
I don't actually-
I could see that bottle, and it was a fresh bottle when you sat
Nope,
down.
that's fake. That's Hollywood.
That's not Hollywood. We're in Texas. I gave up Hollywood years ago. I haven't worked in Hollywood in a long
Let's
time.
talk about this. What were you just asking?
I don't know.
79 days of hell. If the
is that?
Democrats contest the election.
Problem. 79. See, this is not fair. 79 days of hell. That's how many days there are after November 3rd to the inauguration. And John Podesta in the New York Times, they had a big war game where the New York Times sat in on a Democrat high-level war game with Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden and all of them. And they said, we're going to contest. We think we're going to win. But if we lose, we're still going to contest. And we're going to contest, and we're going to call for the UN to come in and occupy the U.S.
The UN is going to occupy the
And then the New York Times came out and said, we need the UN to intervene in the U.S. election. And now the Four Horsemen just called for that yesterday.
Jesus.
And so they are planning to have...
Who's the Four Horsemen?
AOC and the rest of the crew.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And so
I thought that's the tribe.
anyways, and so they're planning to have Western states secede. And they're saying they're going to hold the election up. You already saw this. They already denied the last election.
They can take Portland.
Yeah, you take it all. Take a lot of the West.
79 days of hell. Let me ask you this.
Who cares?
When did you decide to try to escape California?
Well, I told you, the looting. When the looting hit,
you told me off air. I know.
Yeah, I had zero faith in their ability to maintain law and order, because if you're going to pay all that money in taxes, I feel like you should at least feel like they're protecting things. And when they were just letting them smash windows and cops were told to stand down, particularly in Santa Monica, there was like direct orders, and the sheriff was, being widely criticized for this. They were told to stand down while these people were smashing and looting things. When they were doing that, I was like, well, you can't live in a place where that's being tolerated, because this goes from stores to, they'll move to nightclubs, they'll move to restaurants, they'll decide what they're going to smash. It had nothing to do with George Floyd.
No.
It had nothing to do with him.
I agree.
Those restaurants, those stores had nothing to do with George Floyd.
And now, like in Minneapolis, the crime rate's like triple. The police won't even show up. They're like, people are like, why are you even paying you?
Yeah.
So what do you think, both of you, Mr. Dillon, what is the end game of this?
I'm going to finish my answer because
go
I'm
ahead.
not done yet. It was also that there was restrictions that were put in place that didn't make any sense to me. There's restrictions for restaurants, restrictions for comedy clubs, restrictions for gyms. Like, why can't you just wear a mask?
Why are churches closed,
Yes.
but Walmart's open?
Well, why are churches closed, but why is it okay to protest?
It's not alcohol.
Why is everybody letting people protest?
Right.
Why aren't they saying, listen, I understand your want and desire to protest, but understand that you're most likely contributing to the spread of this virus, because that's a fact.
Right.
Even if you support the protests.
I agree. Yeah, the end game seems to be, if you let society get bad enough, people will then accept all these more draconian security measures and censorship across the board. With
Do you
tech.
think that's what's going on with California? Like, why do you think they've kept California locked down this much?
They want to kill the U.S. economy. China's been open for 6 months. They admit it's leaked out that they're doing this to kill the U.S. economy. Remember,
It's leaked out how?
It's come out. Democratic Party reports. It's been stated. I mean, you heard Democrats all over the news say we want a depression to make Trump look bad.
Who said this?
Bill Maher.
Yeah, but Bill Maher is not a part of the Democratic Party. He's a comic.
I know, but I used
Bill
a public.
Maher, but he jokes around about that. Like, look, if we can crash the economy.
Okay,
and get rid of Trump.
regardless, when Jews or Baptists in New York try to have an event, the police show up and arrest them.
Yes.
But then when Antifa or BLM was going around and burn stuff down, the mayor says it's great. And the mayor said, de Blasio said, this is legitimate. Antifa's legitimate. Your church isn't. Your synagogue isn't. So it's power. It's selective enforcement. It's martial law. I have articles right here because everything I brought today, I have the proof. ABC News is reporting in blue cities in Texas that they're going to come to your house and demand a COVID test, and if you don't, they're going to arrest you. Well, the federal and state courts have ruled they can't do that.
Where's that being said?
El Paso, Texas, and other
But
areas.
I want to bring you back to what you're saying about crashing the economy. You use Bill Maher as an example, and I just don't think that's a credible example because he's a comic.
Well, he said that.
Yeah, but he's a comic, and he's
but they
not
always
a politician.
say
He's
comics
not a
have bigger
politician.
coverage than news people now. That's what Colbert and all them pose as news people.
But Alex, you can't use him as an example of someone who's a politician who is calling for the economy to crash.
Strategically, if I was a Democrat, I wouldn't want things to open up again until Trump was out, right?
Agreed.
I mean, that's strategic.
Agreed.
Yeah.
If you wanted,
China
China
wants us shut down. China admits they're using the virus to keep us shut down.
Do you think it's a bioweapon?
Well, I could give you an hour-long treatise on COVID-19.
Okay, we'll get to that momentarily.
Okay, I don't want to anger you, though.
Before we
I love being here. I'll sit here and tell fart jokes if you want. I'd rather get drunk and just have a good time.
Before we get to that,
sit in Tim's lap.
But you said something that I want you to back up. You said that the Democrats are I'm not denying the possibility that this is the case. But this seems like if that was the case, it would be a grand conspiracy that would at least you'd have to have some evidence of this to make that statement, that they're trying or they want to crash the economy because they want to maintain power and to change censorship and to change the way
there are
the laws that
things.
people
Okay, we've had Governor Newsom, we've had Governor
Cuomo.
Cuomo, exactly, all say the economy isn't going to be open because Trump's done a bad job. We're not going to open it until he's gone. And then Whitmer's even come out and
wait a minute, Newsom has openly said that. You sure?
Yeah, type it in. I mean,
But what do you think he said? I'm a critic of Newsom because of his he's become an autocrat. He's
keeps his wineries open.
But there's a lot of issues, right? There's a lot of issues. So that they close so many things.
Joe. Globalism was about selling America off and bankrupting us under Cloward and Piven strategies.
Fine, but don't change the subject.
I'm not.
Specifically what Newsom has said.
They can pull it up just like I told you about the AT&T.
But what did he say that you think? And again, I'm not a fan of him. I'm a critic. Listen, I think you got to give people, grown adults, the choice. If they just look, we don't have overrun hospitals. We don't have people dying in record numbers. We
don't have 5% death rates. We don't have 1%.
Saying the cases and the deaths are increasing. That is true. But as long as there's a disease, they're going to increase. The question is, at what rate? And the people that are dying, how many of them have comorbidity factors?
It's never about the death rate. It's always about increased infection because the death rate's way down. Now,
the death rate is way down.
As soon as the winter hits, they're going to say it's flu, and
Alex,
it's the colds. They're going to count as that.
You get me again. When you say the deaths increase, that is going to happen. The question is, by what rate and how many? Right?
You take the normal flu and pneumonia and morbidity like they did this year, and you add that to the number. They've already run the same scam, and so whatever, they don't count flu as a death or pneumonia anymore. They all count it COVID because they get money on the chart. Right. They get $50,000+ when they call it a COVID death plus when they say that. They get $13,000 to say it's a COVID patient, and they get $29,000 or whatever extra when they intubate somebody. And so now, since when is like Congress saying how to do medicine?
Well, isn't the idea that they're doing this to give money to these hospitals to help them in the middle of a pandemic?
Yeah.
So
but then the hospitals code everything as COVID to get the money. That's come out. They killed most people that died in nursing homes or died from intubation when it's an autoimmune event and you don't want intubation. It's intubation that's killing people.
But they initially thought you did.
But that's why
because it was respiratory
and thank
disease.
God the numbers went down because they stopped intubating.
Yes.
So now it's all about everyone's being. Before there's this high death rate. Because they were intubating and they were counting and they were killing old people. Right. As soon as they stopped shipping folks to old homes that weren't getting vitamin D because no sun, it went like this. So infections like this, you can pull up the graphs.
Yes.
You're like, what's your science? Pull it up. Infections like this, deaths like this.
Right. Well, you're going up and down, right? Deaths down. Now, what did Gavin Newsom say though? That when you said that he said it's not going to get better until Trump's out of office.
Well, it's Whitmer that said that specifically, and he said Cuomo, because I remember that too. But he was just basically like, well, I want to be friends with Trump. There's been a bad response. We've got to keep the lockdown going. And, until Trump does this wrong, until we have a change, it's going to continue on. And then it's always about the power grab. Like, oh, it's 2 years we have to do it. Now it's first it's 15 days to keep the hospitals empty. And then it's 6 months, and now it's 2 years. And then Gates said like a week ago, it's 10 years. And now they've got the people, Fauci and others saying, no, it never ends. You never shake hands. Yeah. And under the UN rules, they say, don't look at someone and turn your head. So in Europe, you can type this in, citizens in the UK told, do not look at other people and turn your head. It's cult programming, man.
I think it's a pretty common talking point, and some people agree with it. Like a lot of Democrats would say, yeah, it's not going to get better until Trump is out because Trump has made a mess of it. I don't think Trump's done the best job.
That's what
clearly.
he said.
But that's a common talking point.
What could he have done better?
Well, done better. He shut down flights from China in February when Pelosi's running around in Chinatown saying, "Dance."
Yeah, but I think it's a pretty common belief that they're saying, listen, so I don't think it's a conspiracy, or I don't think like you have to find a source. I think it's like they believe if he wasn't in, that it won't get better until he's gone. So I don't think they actively are trying to make it better until he's gone.
Exactly.
You see what I mean?
Exactly. They want to keep the crisis going.
I do see what you're saying. I just want to know if there's evidence. I want to know if there's an actual statement where he said, when Trump leaves, then we'll open back up.
That's actually what Whitmer said specifically, but he said similar things. But
all right, well, let's find where
I'm
Whitmer
going from memory
that.
here. I mean, my God.
I understand, but
Jamie,
that's why I'm challenging you on it.
Jamie's on a ventilator.
But I'm challenging you on this because
Jamie needs a ventilator.
people online are going to want to challenge you on this.
Right.
So I want.
Well, that's what they loved about our last interview over a year and a half ago, which they loved, was that people could go and actually check the stuff I was saying, no matter how crazy.
And a lot of it is true. So I want to find that quote now. See if Whitmer said that it won't get better until Trump's out of office. In terms of the lockdown, restrictions.
Whitmer, lockdown won't end until Trump's out.
And didn't she lose some court case recently?
Yes. Her Supreme Court, but also federal courts have ruled across the country that you can't order churches to wear masks. You can't order social distancing. It's all just getting us to comply.
Don't you think it's a good idea to encourage people to wear masks if they're going into large gatherings?
A lot of studies show that doesn't even protect you. Listen. Trump told the truth a few days ago when he came out and he said, we're never going to control this. We have to learn herd immunity, or if you're really scared of it, take a vaccine. And the head epidemiologist of Rockefeller Hospital came out and said that and got banned on YouTube.
I mean, listen, Italy did social distancing. Italy did masks. Italy did everything you were supposed to do. And they're getting clobbered again. So that makes me think that maybe it's not a bad idea to do these things, but they don't seem to. They don't seem to
Sweden
prevent
didn't
a second
do,
wave.
Sweden didn't do any of it, and it's the lowest death rate in Europe.
Right, but it's also a country of small villages. They have a whole different way of life over there.
Well, I mean, Italy is a bunch of 3 generations living in one house.
Yeah, that's the problem.
And they have the oldest people in Europe.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
So yeah, and they need sunlight. They smoke.
They're all
good
smoking.
food.
Try finding a gym over there.
Well,
Jesus
they
Christ.
smoke on the treadmill.
It's so far. Every time I fucking go there, it's hard to find a gym.
Listen, exactly. They
Go
don't.
to a restaurant. Enjoy your life.
Joe,
have a restaurant.
Joe, I came out 8 months ago, and I was selling this stuff, but I said get it at the store. Vitamin D, vitamin C,
Zinc.
and zinc. If you have that on the NIH website, it can't, according to the NIH website, cannot replicate inside the mitochondria where the virus plugs into the cell and makes it replicate. Okay. And so Jones claims he's got a cure. No, it's not a cure. If you've got sunlight and zinc and vitamin C and all these things you need, it's very hard to get these things. That's why it's old people in nursing homes that haven't been outside in years that are dying so easily. Now, Fauci finally 2 months ago came out and said, you need vitamin D, you need vitamin C, you need zinc.
Well, that is true. And young Jamie takes vitamin D, and he kicked it in a day.
Yes. And vitamin C and zinc.
Young Jamie was feeling bad for a day.
But I don't want to argue, Joe. I want to just say I love Bill Gates.
Okay. I use Windows.
I'm looking for
Tell
the
me
quote. I can't find
Whitmer's quote.
a specific quote that says that. There's lots of quotes about them going back and forth, obviously, because they've had a public battle.
I just think anybody like that, whether it's Bill Gates or Bezos or anybody who's a billionaire, if they say, here's the suggested course of action, they have to expect that they're going to be criticized. And a lot of these guys don't like taking any criticism when they're issuing edicts. These are billionaires that are saying, this is how we're going to live.
Yeah, that's the next big question.
This amount of
Isn't
vaccinations.
it strange, though, that Bill Gates, who is not a health expert, is all of a sudden one of the leading voices?
Yeah, it's strange.
But that's my next question.
Yeah.
Why is Bill Gates, who's not a doctor, suddenly on TV telling me how my life's going to go and what I'm going to do? This is the most important part.
Why is this a big project for him?
Well, he's also a guy that wanted to shoot a missile of dust into the atmosphere to help climate change. I mean, very few people in history have had the resources to even think of doing something like that.
That's right. He wants to have jet spray chemicals to block the sun.
Right. And the scientists went,
Joe?
No good. They went, not a good idea. So, and then if you call him on that, he goes, the lies and the conspiracy theories. It's like, no, we're just asking you why you want to shoot missiles into space.
He went on CBS News and they go, 80% of those taking your vaccine trial are getting very sick. Some are dying. He's like, well, that's just how it is. You can pull these clips up.
What?
Yeah.
He said that's just how it is?
Yeah, he said, well, the FDA is going to approve it. I like
Look at you. He's beat red. Look at you. You're blending in with the walls.
But yeah, it's a problem. That's hilarious. That's a problem. It's a problem.
I'm kind of retarded.
This is listen. This is
that meme
remember
is hilarious.
for 2 years they said Trump worked for. I've heard of political mudslinging my whole life. For 2 years they said Trump was an agent of Russia. He was an asset of Russia. The president. Then they did a whole report. And then it came out that he wasn't. There was no proof of it. With the CIA, the NSA, everybody. And then they went like this. They went, well, we might have been wrong about that. I mean, it's mind-blowing.
One of the
Also,
most disturbing things to me was when Ted Cruz was cross-examining Comey when he was asking him questions about what they did with evidence and how they doctored evidence. What do you got, Jamie? Oh.
I just can't believe that Brian Redband is here.
He saved us. Brian flew in when Jamie tested positive for cooties. And we
Have
had
I known
to have
him like
a
16
direct
years?
protocol. Yeah, forever. So we had to have the protocol was
Yeah.
you have to be 10 days and you have to test negative 3 days
Should
in a row.
Brian move here?
Before you come. Yeah, Brian's going to move here. He's looking at houses right now.
You are too.
Tim's going to move here.
I might.
You're moving here, bitch.
I might.
Come on, son.
I
Brian.
don't know. I gotta save LA first from the Satanists.
Listen, it's not coming back.
I know.
Hey, let's talk about that.
Not coming back.
Please, a little bit of stuff.
Yeah.
I don't want to fight Joe.
We're not fighting.
And I'm not. I mean, this much apple
It's a
juice.
little
I'm
bit-
having trouble thinking.
It's okay. It's okay. I love you.
No, you
We're
did this.
fine.
Just have some.
No, I can't. I made a promise.
But on election night, I can pop in.
Yes,
We're gonna have a
that's
drink.
November 3rd. That's November.
But I will be able to
have
pop in.
6 more.
I have a problem. We're very excited.
Put that down. I have 6 more days of sobriety.
That's gonna be a fun.
But
night.
I got to be honest. I'm a little high from this cigar.
Hey, you couldn't have a bigger promo for your election night. I'm glad you actually announced it here.
Well, Kyle Kalinski's been asking when he could announce it, so now you know, Kyle. There you go. It's official.
There you go, Kyle.
I'm excited to get everybody in the room
All right,
and watch
listen,
the
I
demise
wanna
of
cover
Western
some of this real
civilization
stuff here.
in real time.
Can I show you some stuff?
Yeah, what do you got? Do we ever find a quote for Whitmer?
I can't find anything. I mean,
Okay.
there's lots of quotes, but I can't find.
Do you want me to find it?
Can you? Just Google on your phone. And Tim and I will talk amongst ourselves.
Okay,
and
go
then
ahead.
we'll pull up whatever that is.
Okay.
Gretchen Whitmer.
what
They
I
almost kidnapped her. By the
Here
way,
it is.
No, I don't have. I'm just saying.
Oh,
that's what I
Whitmer
typed
when
in.
Trump leaves office quote.
she was almost
not how you
like
find it.
there was a kidnapping plot against her,
No, it's
Yes.
Whitmer.
which 50% of
Lockdowns
the
won't end until Trump gone. That's just come on.
right.
lockdowns won't end till Trump gone. Try that.
Whatever. I know it's true.
Try
I don't
that.
need to find it.
Whitmer, lockdowns won't end till Trump gone. He'll find it. Yeah, the plot to assassinate her. What the fuck
It was
that
a
all
plot
about?
to like kidnap her. That was weird. But
And
I'm
I
sure it's
predicted
murder,
up
right?
front that it was going to be FBI provocateurs, and it turned out the 2 leaders were FBI informants.
what? What's even crazier is 52% of the citizens in Michigan agreed with the plot. That's a joke.
It's a good one.
They're going to edit that part where you say that's a joke.
Joe Rogan's guest calls for kidnapping.
This is outrageous. Deplatform.
This is Central Control.
When I went on Alex's show, Alex goes, Snopes always goes and finds like jokes he makes, and they go, correction, Hillary Clinton is not an Oompa Loompa.
Did you guys see that Brett Weinstein's Unity 2020 account was also banned from
My
Twitter?
producer just told me that. Yeah.
His Unity 2020 account which was calling for a third party, was calling for unity between people on the right and the left to get together and have conversations and perhaps even have an alternative candidate.
That's outrageous.
Well, he's a fucking scholar, and he's a guy who became famous because he was a professor at Evergreen University, and the leftists took over the college.
When they said we're going to shut it down and whites can't come one day a month.
Yeah.
They had,
And then they banned him.
yes. Well, they didn't
Froze
just
it.
ban him. They went looking for him in the parking lot
They
with
chased
baseball
around
bats.
with baseball bats. Yeah.
It was terrifying
So-
shit.
so let me ask
and
this.
then the principal was going along with everything. Literally, they yelled at the principal, "Don't gesture with your hands." Because you're threatening us, but he was talking like this.
Right.
Like,
Oh,
put
did
your
you hear?
hands
They
out.
started
And then
laughing
they started
at him.
laughing at him.
British universities like Oxford, I think is the one. Look it up. Oxford or Cambridge, one of the big ones. You can't clap. It's a microaggression, Joe.
Oh, that's so crazy. But this is what we were talking about for years, and people were saying, why are you concerned with what happens in the universities? It's the same thing we were saying about censorship. Because it keeps going. It
never
doesn't
stops,
stop.
yeah.
When you allow that kind of nonsense in universities, those kids graduate, and they want to carry these goofy fucking practices into all of these
So
corporations.
let me ask you
and
about
you're
this
seeing
question.
that now. You're seeing that now.
It's one of the things I wrote down I wanted to ask you, Joe and Tim Dillon. What happens? Where do they stop? Because they're going to keep running until they hit opposition, which is starting to happen. How far does it go?
I was hoping there was going to be some sort of a federal regulation. I was hoping that Trump was going to step in and they were going to amend the First Amendment to include social media. Because I think what you're seeing now, the argument that these are just private corporations, I don't think that argument is valid anymore because the impact that they have, the significance of being able to speak or not being able to speak has massive implications on our election. We see this with the New York Post being
election
censored.
meddling.
We see it with the New York Post being censored with this Hunter Biden story. Whether you agree with the story being leaked or not, the fact that the New York fucking Post, which is a legitimate newspaper, as outrageous as they are, and the fact that the fucking White House press secretary gets banned from Twitter for tweeting that link.
That's very dangerous.
This is crazy.
I mean, I think sadly, it leads to violence because if you take everybody's ability to communicate away, there's nothing left to do but commit acts of violence.
And by the way, that's a Kennedy quote. Those
Right.
that make peaceful revolution.
Jamie found something.
This is as close as I could get to what he's asking for to be found.
Okay, the Trump virus response is the worst in the globe, she said. If you're tired of lockdowns, or you're tired of wearing masks, or you wish you were in church this morning, or watching college football, or your kids were getting in-person instruction, it's time for a change in this country, and that's why we've got to elect Joe Biden.
I mean, that's pretty.
That's what I mean.
You can
you
make
could,
that.
Could say whatever you want almost.
Yeah.
But that's the
worded.
common sentiment,
worded
right?
in here.
This is
Right,
pretty
but
much
the problem is if you just take it from if you're tired of lockdowns,
And then
you would get
dot.
one you would
Yeah.
get one interpretation of it. But if you back it up to the Trump virus response is the worst in the globe, she said, if you're tired of lockdowns. So what she's saying
I think we're
is
splitting
that
hairs.
you're not necessarily, because what she's
Okay, well,
saying
I
is
saw a clip
Trump,
of her in a
hold,
speech
please,
saying that.
because that's the problem with taking something out of context. What she's saying is
we
He's a wonderful person.
Trump's
Yeah.
done. No, I'm not saying that. What she's saying is that Trump has done such a shitty job. That's the reason why we're locked down. You can't go
No,
to
I
church.
get it. I get it. The headline
I
was.
don't know if that's true though. I think when you've got a contagious disease, you got people flying in from Europe and China and all these other countries that
China.
are expressing. You're going to have spread. I mean, this is a fucking insanely contagious disease.
Listen,
Joe,
we
one of
have
my
to- we have
favorite
to
parts of your
kidnap
show is when you ask Jamie for something and the light turns on when you're looking at it. Let me ask you this. You're into numerology.
How hammered are you right now on a scale of 1 to 10?
Not at all.
We're into numerology. This is when it gets good.
You better.
Okay.
Let's talk. Just be nice to me, Joe.
I am being nice to you.
You got me here. I know you are. Let's get serious. Everybody wants to hear what I actually have to say.
Okay. Numerology.
What was the question? You had me on 9/11,
Yes.
1255, now 1555.
Yeah. Don't connect the dots. It's just I'm in town. It's random.
Well,
It's
you
a
told
normal-
me you
it's a good
picked
time.
9/11 on purpose.
Yeah, that was on purpose.
Okay,
Yeah, it was
all
just fun. But this,
There's nothing bad.
But this is. See, do you understand how this quote? You could interpret that in a different way. Like, I think
the
what she's
entire
saying
Democratic
is that,
Party strategy
I understand.
is to say Trump is to blame for COVID
What
and to
she's
say the
saying-
economy shut down until you get them elected.
I don't think that's what she's saying.
They're all saying.
I understand that
Joe
you can
Biden's
interpret
like,
it that
we're going to
way.
end this COVID by endless lockdowns once Trump's out. If you want to go back to normal, do this. And their own, listen, this is an end of civilization event. The Rockefellers and others put out Operation Lockstep. They're never going to stop this. They're going to have COVID tracking. They're going to have checkpoints. They're going to have apps on your
So
phone.
how do we stop this?
What Trump came out and did and said, we cannot defeat this with vaccines and with COVID tracking, with shutdowns. It's going to have to be with herd immunity, which is what the scientists actually brought articles.
Why can't we beat it with what he beat it with? He's 74 and he eats French fries every day. This motherfucker kicked it in 4 days.
That's what I'm
That's
telling
supposed
you.
to be a death sentence.
Joe,
for old
if you've
people.
got vitamin D, vitamin C, and zinc, it's very hard to get to die
Okay,
from
but
this.
clearly he's got more than vitamin D, vitamin C, and zinc. He's got a bunch of medical treatments, right?
Well, he was given Regeneron. He was given things that are expensive and probably not widely available.
But wait a minute, Jamie tested positive. He's right over there a day later.
Jamie's young and viral.
But I'm saying, since when does something come
it's a weird
along
word. I
and,
never
and
seen
we
it.
go,
He's also
civilization is
viral.
over. Civilization is over
Viral.
because of this thing that came out of China. And you're not even supposed to come. You want to ask where COVID came from? You ask what it is?
Jamie,
What
do
is
you
it?
feel
What-
better about the disease now that you kicked it so quickly?
I mean,
How-
not
how
at-
old are
not
you?
At first.
How old are you?
37. Not
37?
At first, I was a little worried for the first day. I was like,
You're like,
well,
oh, shit.
Here we go. Are we going down like a 2-week, 3-week, 4-week?
Ventilator time?
Months.
Yeah,
Right. Because
sure.
you've talked to people on the show that have been fucked up by it.
Sure. And
Yeah.
How lucky am I going to be today is also
Right.
what I was thinking.
And
But
you,
still
but you were
statistically-
also taking all the vitamins.
I mean, I got all that. We had NAD and all that stuff too in my system.
Yeah.
So like, maybe that helped. Could
I'm
help.
sure.
Hopefully it helped.
Sure did, of course. Statistically, they said 5% of us would be dead. It's not even
Well, they thought
0.1%.
that,
Okay,
this
but
is what they thought.
But they're the all-powerful gods. It's like the UN says, you will not question us. Big Tech says, you will not question anything the UN says. Meanwhile, the UN's like, oh, we shouldn't do a lockdown. It's killing millions of people, starvation. But still, it's like, we're keeping the lockdown going, the United Nations said.
Well, what do you think should be done?
I mean, I think we should look at something that isn't much worse than the flu and say we all need natural vitamins and nutraceuticals and sunlight and health, and people should just know they got to deal with it the way it is, because we always get diseases, we always get viruses, we always live with it. The idea we got to lock society down and go into our houses, and this is a post-industrial move that they're using to roll out these systems to keep us locked down in our homes.
Right. And if you want to be cynical, this is where you step in and say the reason why they want us to be upset and they want the economy to be fucked is because they hate the president and they want him out of office and they want to regain power. They want the
They
Democrats
want to
in
remake
office.
the American economy in the image of what they want. They want to remake a lot of these systems that they feel are, for whatever reason, unjust or unjust or whatever, and they want to use this opportunity to kind of redraw the lines. And
Exactly.
They did that after 9/11.
Exactly. This is the new 9/11. The UN and the Davos group all say this is the post-industrial world, the Great Reset. I got a copy of it for right here. And they say in these documents, we are going to reorganize society. COVID is good to shut down the carbon. Carbon is bad. We're going to end success. We're going to end prosperity. We're going to track everybody. We're going to control their lives, all under the name of COVID.
They said all that. They said we're going to end success. We're going to end prosperity.
Yeah, in the Lockstep Rockefeller document 2010, they say we'll have a viral release or a simulated one that creates total fear. We'll bring in a police state, martial
Is
law.
this available for someone to read?
Absolutely.
Alex, wasn't there
Okay.
something called Agenda
Try to
21 or
find that.
something where they were saying we want people living in cities, we don't want home ownership, we don't want-
Compact cities, yeah.
Yeah,
and,
this is-
and then
yeah.
you were saying it earlier. They go, oh, it's for the greater good that we don't have cars anymore. It's for the greater good we have don't
No,
have
that's not what I
single.
was saying. What I was doing was playing devil's
No,
advocate.
you were quoting them.
Yeah, what I was saying, there's
I'm not saying you said that,
autonomous-
Joe. You believe in that.
I
You
was
believe in
saying that
homes.
I do believe in cars too. Autonomous vehicles are in the future, at least, likely to be safer than people just driving and texting.
Well, it's not safe giving control of these corporations and robots and making ourselves obsolete. We need to build a pro-human future.
Well, I'm pro-human. But
No, I know you are.
wanna
I'm not
know
saying you're
the
not, Joe.
Rockefeller thing from 2010. Sounds a weird segue. I'm pro-human.
I started, and I was already looking this up as you mentioned it because I was going down my own little rabbit hole. It says when I first starting to find it, my first search just says there's a large conspiracy has been built out of this small grain of truth from this document from 2010.
Okay.
That's what it starts to say. So I haven't.
Oh, is that
gotten-
Snopes?
Small
There's
grain
this-
of truth.
Yeah.
So Snopes is
let's-
like God. It's like
I don't think, is it Snopes that you Googled?
Let's
it?
focus on the grain of
no,
truth.
no. Who says it's a grain of truth?
Trying to hold on. I got a lot. Of
No,
here.
it's Operation Lockstep, and it says a global police state will be brought in from a pandemic, and there'll be worldwide martial law. It actually says it in the document.
Okay.
It's like they always go like, oh, there's no Hunter emails. They admit the emails are real.
Right.
I love that clock.
It is weird that they're
beautiful
saying GGT Studios.
Okay,
Wait,
here
it is weird.
Here's the document.
Okay.
Where-
The
where-
Rockefeller Foundation Annual Report 2010.
I'll control F. What would you like me to look up?
Look up police state. Look up.
Yeah, just look up police state.
Don't forget the exact words. I mean, let's just go read it for yourself, man.
Control F police state.
Nothing came up.
This is just one paper. That's it.
I mean, that's the whole PDF is here. It's really, really, really long.
So when you control F police state, nothing. Okay, what else?
I mean, I've read it before. It says that. So anybody can go read it right now.
So you think they edited it?
No. It's. I mean, I can't remember the exact words.
Okay, well, let's look up pandemic. Look up pandemic.
Pandemic just means widely distributed. Epidemic means you're actually sick.
4 mentions of the word pandemic.
Okay. All right. With no network to transfer critical infectious disease information without open lines of communications, thousands more fall sick. The new, in quotes, disease becomes an unchecked pandemic. By the time the right expertise is brought to bear on the problem, it's too late. The disease has spread around the globe. In a world of global trade and travel, what's traded faster and travels furthest are the microbes in every handshake. Southeast Asia. So what is this in reference to? Okay, it says a few miles east, young boy and his men. No, hold on, please go back to that. Yeah, it's just a scenario that they're painting. So make that a little larger. No, go back to it. Just go back to where it was. All right. The potential pandemic of the past few decades have severely tested the world's ability to work across human borders. Detection remains weak in many parts of the world. The public health response has frequently been slow and fragmented. The looming threat of infectious disease presents humanity with a new challenge to communicate and collaborate swifter and with greater efficiency than ever before. That doesn't sound like they're trying to end the world.
Okay, well, you're just reading one of these documents. I can pull up the articles. I can show it to yourself.
But
it's world government controlled. They talk about a worldwide police state. You search the term pandemic. I'm telling you what's in these things.
Okay, emerging pandemics, the new century, SARS, avian flu, and swine flu. If we don't move
investigated systems to bring in global government.
It seems like they're trying to prevent pandemics. If we don't move quickly, viruses will. By continuing our drive to invest in systems that coordinate efforts and share information, the Rockefeller Foundation is working to ensure
which is the global government controlling all of this,
to meet the health challenges of an interconnected world.
Isn't the perfect analogy terrorism? Because it's like terrorism exists. People want to prevent terrorism, but it's like, how many rights do you give up in order to do that? And then, all these proactive measures that we take to prevent terrorism, a lot of them create more terrorists. So I think it's like a balance of remaining a free society and dealing with a lot of these problems.
Listen, I sit here, we sit here and we talk about something, and whether Jamie can find it or not becomes the arbiter whether it's real. So they found something about AT&T lobbying, but they didn't find a thing about this. I've got the Operation Lockstep documents where they say we're going to bring in this global authoritarian police state.
You have to show us those.
Well, I mean, I'm sitting here in studio talking to you about this.
But I understand. I understand what you're saying. But we wanted to try to.
But everybody else watching this is going to look it up.
Well, I hope they do.
They're going to go crazy.
I hope we.
No, that's good.
I wish we could have found it right then if it's real.
No. I know you want to show it,
but it might be an interpretation of what they're saying, like the Whitmer quote.
No, it says specifically.
The Whitmer quote is just a criticism of Trump. She's blaming all this lockdown.
No, Whitmer was found by the Supreme Court of Michigan and by a federal court to have seized all 3 branches of governments and basically set up martial law. They even used those terms. And she was overturned.
When you say in that quote, I want to, when you say if you are sick of lockdowns and you're sick of not being able to go to church, Joe Biden should be elected.
Agreed.
That is not a huge jump from what he said.
No, it's not a huge jump.
Yeah.
But the problem is the way it's being said, she was talking about how bad Trump handled the rate of infection first.
Of course. And that's
all right, well, let's expand on that. I remember interviewing Lou Dobbs 15 years ago, back when he was still on CNN. We were looking at documents where it said we're going to bring in global government, the North American Union, using the threat of viruses, migration flows, and economic collapse. And they said like a deadly flu or a deadly SARS.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here watching this power grab, watching the UN and big tech saying, well, you can't say that the UN's wrong because the UN's in charge. Since when is the news, WHO, and all these doctors, all these medical doctors that come out and say other things other than like how steroids cured it or, how hydroxychloroquine helped it, how are they being banned? Even if they were wrong, they should have their license removed. That's what that's about. It's not Google decides that if something isn't the UN, it's taken down. That's all I'm saying.
Well, it is a problem that they're deciding which doctors to listen to and which doctors not to, when there is some real controversy as to how to handle the virus with treatment. Right. What treatment is effective and what isn't effective. Yeah. Now, it turns out there's a lot of doctors that think that hydroxychloroquine isn't effective. And there's some doctors that thought it was, and they think that a combination of zinc and but the problem is the people that are deciding what gets taken down or not getting
That's a huge
taken
problem.
Down.
And the problem is that the doctors who go, well, we think, it's like we've minimized the voices of the people that are saying one thing,
right,
and we've elevated the voices of the people that are saying another thing, and it's like that becomes the real issue. Whether people like Trump, there's stuff to criticize about Trump. We all know that.
And in their defense, they're doing it because they think that people are going to do something foolish and they're going to go out and spread the virus further. Because
it's not the media's job, though. This is the problem. I think the media has taken on this really activist role where they are now
worse. It's not the media.
Worse,
social media media companies,
too,
not even necessarily the media. Where you have like legitimate journalists that are taking on
Trump
this role.
Do you think he would do something in his second term about social media?
I think he certainly is going to do something.
Why hasn't he done something already?
Because it's so complex. Because they'll claim it's election meddling, even though they're doing that at the same time. What we have is multinational corporations acting in tandem that are already making the nation state obsolete. They're creating a information warfare monopoly, and they're censoring people and using that power they have. And we just sit here denying it's going on until it's too late. I mean, it's a really serious situation.
And it is a crazy situation where all of these tech companies all lean left, all of them.
Yeah, they do.
They lean left and they support, like, there's no tech companies that are out there supporting Donald Trump. There's no tech companies.
What's very interesting is tech companies are very wealthy people, right? They're insanely wealthy.
But David Pakman had a really good point about that they, like, when it comes to their financial dealings, they're very conservative.
They're very libertarian and conservative.
Oh, they don't pay taxes.
Right.
I mean, Google pays almost taxes. That's what I'm telling you. Does Apple complain about Chinese slave factories in China? No. It's just what I'm telling you is it's all BS. And when you study what they're doing, I can sit here on my phone and pull it up. They talk about in lockstep bringing in a global authoritarian system. They talk about riots. They talk about war.
If you could find that article, send it to Jamie.
Jamie
got something?
I found something, but I'm trying to understand what it's saying because it's speaking about years in the future as though they've already happened.
Well, we're not too far away from.
Let's see it because they're painting another scenario, just like they painted with that infection scenario.
Archive.org. I found. I went to the second page of this link, but this is like scenario narratives. It says lockstep. It talks about pandemics from 2012 and the SARS and all sorts of H1N1. So I skipped into the next page while you guys were talking, and this is the part that's a little strange, which is getting into what I think he is now talking.
Where's that?
About.
Can you highlight it?
It started here because it says something about Kenya in 2025 and people being weary of top-down.
Okay, by 2025, people seem to be growing weary of so much top-down control and letting leaders and authorities make choices for them. Wherever national interest clashed with individual interest, there was conflict. Sporadic pushback becomes increasingly organized and coordinated as disaffected youth and people who have seen their status and opportunities slip away, largely in developing countries, incited civil unrest. By 2026, protesters in Nigeria brought down the government. Fed up with the entrenched cronyism and corruption, even those who liked the greater stability and predictability of this world began to grow uncomfortable and constrained by so many tight rules and by the strictness of national boundaries. The feeling lingered that sooner or later something would inevitably upset the neat order that the world's governments had worked so hard to establish.
Okay, I never read that, but that's the other stuff. It's in there. It's thousands of pages, man.
Okay.
It talks about global police state and worldwide riots. And
I mean, we're not that far away.
It's weird
people
that
are
the way
saying
they're writing that because they're writing it almost like
I've never seen that part.
I'm
just saying it says stuff like that.
But listen, look at the ideas like the EU, right? It's a supranational financial architecture. People are saying that borders are racist. People are saying that the idea of America is racist. The country is the idea of a country or a nation state is racist. There is this growing idea or ideology that global governance is a good thing, or that nation states are, exclusionary.
Well, it comes down to this. It's not that
that
nation states are perfect. Multinational corporations are bigger and operate, in many cases, more powerfully than governments.
Correct, yeah.
And so they want control, and they say they want control, and they're going to use racial differences between two countries to play them off against each other, and they're going to use global crises to centralize global control. And that's what they say in these white papers is the corporations are using this for global control, and there will be rebellions against it. That's what I read.
And then people have more loyalty to multinational corporations and more loyalty. They have more in common with people that live in London or Davos or Switzerland than they do to their American citizens, and that becomes the problem.
But you've got Google and Facebook executives on jumbo jets and mansions telling us we've got to lower our carbon footprint and be poor. They're hypocrites. It doesn't hold water.
Yeah.
How do we get out of this?
There it is. Authoritarian capitalism. I mean, I remember, I don't have it in front of me, but I was reading the lockstep Rockefeller documents, and they predicted worldwide police state, authoritarianism, civil war. I mean,
they're predicting in 2018. It says, will Africa's embrace of authoritarian capitalism a la China continue? And then Vietnam to require a solar panel in every home in 2022. And then in 2025...
Yeah, that's not the same documents I saw, but that's the question is...
It's weird the way they're writing this. They're writing this as this they're predicting.
Already happened.
Yeah, they're talking about it like they're seeing the future and like almost like it's fiction.
But
They're
Joe,
talking about it like it's
here's
an
Trump
inevitability.
saying,
Yeah.
we're not going to control the pandemic. You don't. You get used to it. You get over it. You fight it with nutraceuticals. You fight it with, with therapeutics. It's the idea that and Bill Gates came out 2 weeks ago and he goes, we'll be shut down for 10 years.
Is that what he said?
He said, yeah. Wow. He said, this goes on for 10 years until there's not one corona case. Well, they picked the perfect problem they can never defeat.
But isn't that crazy? Like you see a guy like Jamie who literally kicked it in a day. And they're saying we're going to close down the world for 10 days.
Well, it's also like the war on terror is still going on. I mean,
yeah, they want a problem that never goes away.
Yeah, it's never going to. I mean, the Cold War went on forever. I mean, this is just they like these things.
So, but we've entered into 3 hours in here, 2.5 hours in here. We've entered into this weird spot. We're like, okay, what could be done?
You're going to drink whiskey.
Yeah.
All right, I've already been invited election night. I'm here.
What could be done? What can be done?
Man, all I know is I try to tell the truth. I make mistakes, but I'm sitting here with these notes I've written where I read what globalists say. I gave you that Wall Street Journal article where they go, we're impure that we can get sick. It's time to get rid of all humans and merge with machines. It's so beautiful. I think, well, that's just one kook. And then it's almost all these people. And really they're just trying to convince the public to all roll over and die.
But wait a minute. Isn't that a provocative article by a journalist who's trying to paint a rosy picture of our symbiotic relationship with technology? I mean, when someone's saying, literally saying, looking forward to the end of humanity. It's a provocative article. It's like,
but that's the nihilistic attitude these people actually pick up. I mean,
yes, it is, but it's also sort of this inevitable. If you extrapolate from where we are now with technology to where we're going to be in 20, 30 years, and when you look at things like Neuralink, and you look at a lot of this technology that they're coming up with.
But we're talking about big tech censoring us. I don't want them plugged into my goddamn brain.
Yeah, it's probably a bad idea. It seems
Yeah.
like a bad idea to have them invade your body.
Well, when you're talking about centralized power like that, it is a bad idea.
It's not a good idea.
It's a bad idea to give them
All
power
I'm saying
over
is,
speech.
Joe, and
It's
I'm
a
glad
bad
you're
idea.
here. I'm glad you're here. I'm very excited to be here tonight, and I really appreciate you. We have to get people to debate the fact that there's people, engineers and technocrats choosing their course, and that the public is not involved in deciding that course.
Well, I hope people are starting to understand when you see the White House press secretary get banned from Twitter, when you see the New York Post links get banned from Twitter, I hope people are starting to understand that giving people power, giving large groups power over whether it's national discourse, whether it's policy, any of these things, it's bad. It's a bad idea.
It's a bad idea.
Exactly.
It's a bad idea.
You don't want to give Alex Jones power.
The founding fathers, although they didn't predict technology, they didn't predict the internet, they did predict what happens when you give human beings ultimate power.
Right.
I mean,
Power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean,
So Joe, you just said it. So let me ask this question. Because see, you got a huge audience. We can really change the world right now. I think we've done a good.
no one's listening.
No, they're listening.
There's no one
If you
listening.
want to change the world, you go on Alyssa Milano's show.
That's the show.
Yeah.
Dude.
No.
I only get 3 times as many listeners as her.
People that are zombies don't matter. I'm sorry about being mean.
I'm sure she won't take zombie offense.
Let me tell you,
I don't think zombies.
Did you guys hear what I said?
Yeah.
Listen, you can look at Tony Podesta or John Podesta and laugh at them. They run the Democratic Party. It came out 2 months ago in the New York Times bragging that they were in the meeting when they were wargaming on thousands of people listening on a telephone call. And they go, we're not going to concede, and we're going to have the country break up, and we're going to have secession, and we're going to call for the UN to invade America.
How fucked up would it be if all this stuff actually comes true the
If
way
this
you're describing
happens,
it?
this will be fucking insane. I have to use
And
it. Can I use a bathroom?
Yeah, go ahead. But when people are talking about, be careful with that camera. Don't bump that camera.
But I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm saying they're saying it. Because if it doesn't happen, I'll be glad. But they're like, oh, Jones is saying this is happening.
No, I know you will be glad.
They're literally
but
saying
if this does happen, this podcast can be heavily criticized, right? We're all aware of this. But when we knew that coming in. But when this goes down, if this goes down the way you're describing it, how eerie would this be?
Well, it would be very eerie.
Eerie.
It would be very scary because, I'll tell you, this is what they're saying they're going to do. Now, I hope they don't do it. But they are saying that they're going to contest the election when they lose. And if Trump tries to declare it, big tech has implemented this AI system that's going to block hundreds of millions of Americans from being able to say Trump won election night.
Yeah. And
so that's why election night is so spectacular.
And some people can say, well, there's never been voter fraud before, or voter fraud has been so minuscule in the past. That is true. But however, the ability to vote by mail in advance never really existed like it exists now.
Exactly.
And
80 million ballots put out there. 80 million ballots put out there as a total wild card.
So who is counting all these ballots?
It's the locales. It's whoever grabs them. It's whoever puts in the false names. There's been a bunch of people arrested for.
Right, but if you're in a democratically controlled state and so who is controlling and counting those ballots?
Brian Redband.
He's a good guy. He'll tell us the truth.
Brian, get over here real quick. He's over for 2 minutes.
Okay.
We need Brian. No, I mean, seriously, I don't know what's going to happen, Joe. I know the Democrat chief strategist says we're going to contest the election. We're going to break the country up like Civil War 1862, and we're going to do all this, and we're going to say that. Go ahead.
They found water on the moon.
Oh, awesome.
They did find water on the moon. You know, 6 months before they said that, Buzz Aldrin called me up.
And he said there's water on the moon?
And he goes, they're going to crash an Indian probe in there. It's like, 2007 or something. They're going to crash an Indian probe on the moon. But I want you to know we already crashed one. They're going to find the water. I was like, thank you, Buzz Aldrin.
So he called you up?
Yep.
Does Buzz call you often?
No, he's called me like 3 times.
Are you ever shocked? Are you like, he's like, it's Alex's Buzz
Well,
Aldrin.
it actually got like 20 million views
Yeah.
before they took it off YouTube. He was on the show one time, and he goes, my secretary really likes you. On there, he goes, is she a hottie? You're lucky I'm doing this. I'm like, well, yes, sir. And he goes, there is the moon of Mars that is where the real obelisk is, 2001. And the aliens created the pyramids. And I just wanted to tell you, Alex, you got a good...
What? He said the aliens created the pyramids?
Yeah, and there was an obelisk on Mars.
I heard that
listening?
part.
Yeah.
That's not as shocking. The Buzz Aldrin said the aliens created the pyramids?
I'm telling you, I was contacted by Buzz Aldrin's secretary. And
Okay.
I'm not making this up. It's just real.
I don't believe you are.
And it's just like, whenever this was, like 12 years ago, whatever, 10 years ago, whatever it was. Like, hey, Buzz Aldrin wants to come on. So we checked. It's Buzz Aldrin. He wants to talk about his new book. And once he gets on, he goes, it is the soul moon, Choron, or whatever it's called. Look up the moon of I want off memory, if somebody get this stuff wrong, sometimes, of Mars. And he goes, that is where the true obelisk is, and that will give us the data tapes to go to the next level. And I just wanted you to know that because you're a good person, that the pyramids were created by aliens, and we're doing important work.
There he is. Buzz Aldrin admits aliens built the pyramids and Phobos monument. Oh, the
Yeah,
monolith.
he said it after he talked to me on C-SPAN, yeah. And
So he
Phobos,
said it? He really said aliens built the pyramids?
I swear to God.
This guy really went off the reservation. Like, you think NASA's like doing a better vetting process now? Because this guy
Well,
really...
it's, he's had tough times.
Well, he just endorsed Trump.
Oh, did he?
Why did he endorse Trump? All the military endorsed Trump. All the police unions.
But listen, I'm not
endorsed Trump.
bragging. I don't know why. I thought he had one about a book he wrote. He starts telling me about aliens, the pyramids, and the freaking...
Let me ask